and I will use you as a warning sign that if you talk enough sense, then you'll lose your mind.
That is Stephanie Collins covering Amber Run with I Found. But I really like that line, and so I'm using it. The link to her doing the whole song is below, and she's got a bunch of other cool stuff, and only like 2,000-3,000 subs, so you can show her some love. Hi, everyone. I am Griswold Grimm, and this is the Broken Clock Theory. Good morning to East Berlin. West Coast, thanks for tuning in before I tuck you into bed. And I think the Australia people are in the middle of their day or something. It's hard being global. A lot harder than being an amateur. But I'm giving it my best shot, y'all. Ah, there it is. See, this is not the right one. The right one's on the way. The right one? What? More like that. So, in recent developments, some new Katie Groves has dropped. So let's check that out together, shall we? As we join on this journey together in this invisible place, which I'll get into later, hopefully. No.
This is Katie, and in this video I'm just going to be giving an update about our integration process and some things we're struggling with around trigger days. I'd also like to note that if you hear background noise, it may be the sound of my stomach rumbling. I'm having stomach issues with acid reflux as a result, I think, of being triggered by trigger dates. So, around that in general.
This is my fair use commentary.
Also loves the game, and so that's something we've been doing a lot to try to cope with the trigger dates. Engage in any kind of social events because we're afraid of being accessed, and we just have a lot of anxiety around that in general. But we play with our partner who also loves the game, and so that's something we've been doing a lot to try to cope with the trigger dates, and it's helping. But we're not going to go too much more into that because we want to save that for separate videos. And we just want to actually focus on just talking about trigger dates in general and, like I said, what's going on with our integration process. So in our
That's something I can save for later, but I wanted to check in. How is everyone today? Lisa stopped by. I wanted to say hi with my voice words. Hi, Lisa. No one can pronounce it, huh? That sounds like a challenge. Oh, let's see if I can get it my first go. At first go, I would call that Malika. But that's my shot at the first go challenge. Till then, I'll just call you Lisa, Lisa. I'm gonna be digging something up real quick. I will say, like, this is the kind of stuff I usually save for the background show on Twitch. But the thing is, something the guy said today is important to me. Important to me to address. So I want to see if I can find it. And I didn't already find it like a responsible host would have. So here we go.
You guys want to watch the Keepers video?
Oh, it's so loud.
I'll play that for you.
Let's see. Let's see.
And
Maybe I can.
Great.
No.
Thanks for calling.
For that. That was fascinating to watch, though.
Like it ended up being.
Oh, is this just a short clip?
But like people got really.
No. What's going on here? I'm lost and confused. Okay, so the caller called in, and he was like, "What are you talking about, community? Community is where people live." And alright, I can barely hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it at all, but it helps me. So I'm waiting for the camera to kick on for you guys. Wait, I gotta do this. Boom. And I gotta make sure it's muted. Good. Okay. I guess I should put. Okay. I wanted to talk about invisible places. As you can see over there, there. The fundamental theory is like, okay, think about if you meditated or if you zone out in front of your Netflix, how things can go on around you in your sphere of ignorance while you pay attention to a thing. Okay, so where you are is really where your attention is, and there are millions of young men and women across the country you live in with their attention inside virtual worlds right now. Literally, I could say, well, I was sitting there wiggling my thumbs, right? But to communicate what was actually going on, I would have to say I was shooting rockets at that guy defending the payload. And so the question then becomes, what sort of bonding can happen in these invisible places where we pool, coalesce, group our attention? And why does it exist as a thing? I think, if we were all church-going folk and actually interacted with people and went to potlucks and went over to people's houses and played cards and shit and played cards and such like people used to do before when the only screens that ruled us were in the living room instead of in our pockets and with us all the time. Before families were broken up because it was more profitable to go to the city and live in an apartment. Like, can you go to a city and live in a togetherment? I don't think so, but I bet you if you could, they would be growing their own food. Oh, we have Bam and Shoni showed up to say hi. Hi, everybody. Enjoy this beautiful tune by Cerebral Pisces while I check on something real quick. So I thought I'd try and do a Discord walkthrough a little bit. Because that's going to be new for a lot of people, and it'll be useful to those that want to join in a new way as we journey on our knowledge quest together. I'm going to see if I can hide the right half of it real quick. But yeah. Almost. Alright. A little further. There we go. Alright, so I wanted to show you around the Broken Clock Theory Discord server in case you want to come by. I have yet to find trustworthy people to make moderators to kick you out, save for an old friend of mine, and he's probably busy most of the time. So if you find any interlopers behaving inappropriately, you can contact me directly at this point. Alright, I'm just gonna shut you down for a second. Okay, so I have two main sections, show related and community grounds. There's also separate voice channels for just hanging out if you want to just talk to other people who also have their headsets tuned in. Then there's this one. This is a super secret top secret room that most people can't see, where I discuss what to do with the Discord. And here's some stuff you probably can or cannot see. I have an interview room for the event that I bring in strangers that aren't part of the community for interviewing. It's a locked one. And then here's one for the Patreon people and me, once those people exist. The green room is one during shows where I have notifications turned on, so not that I generally check my notifications during a show, but if you're trying to get a hold of me during a show, that's probably one of the best bets. There's one other room, but the rest of them, in server settings, you can, well, I don't know where it's at, actually, so never mind, but when you first come in, the notifications are kind of like, if they're not set right on the server you join, or if you don't have your own settings right, it'll ping your phone all the damn time. For me, when I go to a channel, I can go to edit channel, and then as a user, but see, it's all weird right now because this is my server, so it's giving me options you won't be seeing. So I'm not doing a very good guided tour. Okay. So here's the guided tour part. I got show related, which is, specifically for this, but I also have the community grounds, where there's a social memory complex where we share. It's kind of like a museum of stuff that's happened since we've come together. Like right now, we were talking about the Panopticon this morning, and then, so, and I try to put a pin describing because all these places to me are invisible places. Like, it's almost like a part of a house, you come in and this is the kitchen and this is the bathroom and stuff. I mean, the rooms all have different functions, but they have functions. So, this danger zone here that's for people who have gotten past my safety threshold. If you're not in there yet, I don't know. It's not hard. I'm not hard to play. So just try a little harder. So there's a quick Discord intro. If I get more directed questions or whatever, I will address those in future videos, streams, something. I'll do something. There should be, I think I'm going to do a live Discord link to where you don't have to get a hold of somebody to stay on it. And then for when I'm streaming, and then on the older videos or the static videos, I'll do the temporary access where you can check it out, and then you'll get kicked out when you leave if you haven't got a hold of somebody to give you a role on the server. I'm still building it up, and it's still new, but it's a good place to hang out with people that watch the same shows as you when you're not watching shows. So you're welcome to join us there. Ooh, I have awkward silences over there. So I think let's have one of those right now. Okay, was that good for you guys? Have we covered awkward silences enough? Okay, I'm gonna assume so. Let me check with the chat. I haven't said hi in a minute. Which of my deals, Shoni? I've been informed I need to check my deal. I do not know which deal I need to check, but I always take deal checking advice very seriously. Very seriously. No, it says good morning East Berlin. It was like inspired. I was like, you know what? I think people in East Berlin are just waking up right now. And I'm a big fan of Robin Williams, and he's got that good morning Vietnam. So that's like the text version of that. I did it in spirit. Good morning East Berlin. But okay, so I got multifaceted selves. This one's fun. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna set the mood for that one. Just as a warm up, think of your emotional self, the self you are with your family, the self you are at work, etc., etc. And just relax, get some coffee, and I'll be right back. That part's more relaxing, I think. are getting very sleepy. Unless it's morning. If the sun is out where you are filled with energy and a light step. If you're going to bed, it's quite the opposite. The rhythm of the music serves your rhythm of your cycle. You can use it in any way you choose, for you are no muggle after all. You gotta remember to unmute the mic sometimes. So, on to your multiple selves. Well, let me check with the chat. Oh, not sick. There's some healings. Alright, first, let me introduce you to a couple platonic solids, also known as 12-sided dice. Not as well known, die means one. That's dice. This is not a dice, this is a die. This is a die. It's 12-sided. All the dice used in the Dungeons and the Dragons are platonic solids, which are fascinating, as is sacred geometry, as is chimetics. But as far as multiple selves go, multifaceted selves, I think that probably you could break those down astrologically, but they're maybe those are your numbers. Sort of like in Battlestar Galactica, how there were only so many models. It seems to me that people are a blend of archetypes manifesting through them, almost. And they may manifest 3 different sides of themselves with their family, one at work, one online. I read some articles about ladies who caught their husbands being online trolls, and they're the nicest dudes in real life. But repressing something doesn't make it go away. And things you ignore can grow in the dark behind you. So these are things, those are just internal, the internal facets of a self. We literally also have to deal with our online presence, our digital footprint. We have to deal with our financial selves, our spiritual selves, our physiological selves. And people say be yourself, when in certain contexts and parts of society you're not really allowed to. And so I think that's what drove so many of us to make these invisible places online, places where we go. There's been times in my life where I was spending so much time on certain forums on the internet that when I got harassed there, I used the phrase, "Thanks for finding my little corner of the internet and pissing all over it," to the nice lady who had a problem with me. So these are places that aren't places in the third dimension, but they interact and interface just like places, and we can map them, and we can have people who come from the land of Reddit explain to us what goes on over there, because it's like a different place. Like the 4chan boards are a different place. Twitter is a different place. And like, we are pieces of all these places we take a part in. And I don't know, it seems like it would do us some good to see that and start using that as what do you do after you wake up? Like, aren't we all disappointed that there hasn't been a group running around finding woke people and taking them to the Underground Railroad, to the place where everybody knows what's really going on? Well, gotta be the change somehow. Okay, so glossolalia is a medical term. It doesn't mean how I use it, but glossary wasn't gonna work because it's just not, and it's like it's a school word, so it'll drive people away from that just because that's the type of word it is. But there's terms and phrases I use like social memory complex, which I get from Ra, which make no sense. People have used the phrase neuro-linguistic programming with me a lot, and I don't really know it or what they mean by it, so this may be that. But when I do a glossolalia video, it's going to be about a term I use that most people don't, and how I use it and what it means when I do. And that turns out to be a sort of language that develops within a community, and I'm not going to be the only one influencing it, clearly. But when we get new people in, it's nice to be able to, like, with terms and even people, situations, like, I'd say that everyone that I recognize as somebody in this community would have a response to the thing with David Seaman, but very few in the community would be able to point a stranger to what that thing is, or the video, the short fucking here's 8 minutes explaining so you can catch up, the previously on part of the show, the recaps. So, and that's when I do a glossolalia video, it's in that direction. So I have something I can point to, like I'm going to do one on social memory complex at some point. So I'll be able to say, when I say that, here's what it means and why it's a useful term. Like what, because words let you do things. If you have it's biblical, even if you want, like Adam was naming stuff and it was good. So maybe it's good to name things. I don't like that phrase. It's useful for me. Because our shared memories work. It's like the Star Trek thing I'm always talking about, the Shaka when the walls fell. Like, these cultural memories make up the social memory complex. And that you share those memories means you have an internal shortcut to communicate complex phrases and meanings and feelings and emotion. It's like... It's like something, but it's useful to me, and I hope it makes sense to people. I hope that the people it makes sense to find me. But then again, the difference between genius and insanity is the ability to communicate it to others. So I guess part of doing this is going to be me learning how to better do that. So all I have left is a random reading of Raw. Let me check with the maybe guests and the chat real quick. Oh, you didn't hear any of that. That was embarrassing. I'm gonna do the random reading of Ra next, and I gotta Google it and bring it up. But that's what I'm doing. Hi, Adela. Law of one .info. Isn't it awesome that it's a .info site? That's so sweet. Social memory complex. Alright, let me see what you're seeing. Ah, that's what you're seeing. You get over here. No, not you. You. Come here. Get smaller. Put your shirt on. Alright, get your beard there. Close enough. And thank you for joining me, whether in the present or in the future. I always appreciate your company. Alright. It'll be too powerful if I read Rob while that stuff is playing, I think. That might break the law of confusion, so here we go. At what stage does a planet achieve social memory? I am Ra. A mind-body-spirit social complex becomes a social memory complex when its entire group of entities are of one orientation or seeking. The group memory lost to the individuals in the roots of the tree of mind then become known to the social complex, thus creating a social memory complex. The advantages of this complex are the relative lack of distortion in understanding, the social beingness, and the relative lack of distortion in pursuing the direction of seeking. All understanding/distortions are available to the entities of the society. So, like, we're not there yet, but maybe if we start using the term, we'll get there quicker. And it's when everyone's on the same page eventually. Apparently, there's the noobs get brought in because the information is just there. So, like, we're like the bridge between whatever we were before and whatever we're gonna be, and I like this direction. So that again is I should grab that and put it in the description, right? Now this is channel material, so if you're super scary religious type, you're probably terrified that it's the demons. But I don't know, I think even they have to tell enough truth to give out some useful information. That's even a broken clock is right twice a day kind of thing. So I'm gonna dump this in the description and see if chat has anything they want to say to me, and see if I can get away with playing some more Stephanie Collins while that happens.
Oh, when I found love where it wasn't supposed to be, right in front of me, will talk some sense to me. Oh, when I found love where it wasn't supposed to be, right in front of me, will talk some sense to me. And I would use you as a makeshift gauge of how much to give and how much to take. And I'll use you as a warning sign that if you talk enough sense